open for the opposition, we've got Dr. Gail, who is a lecturer, author and feminist activist. She's the founder of the group Stop Porn Culture, which is fighting to end sexual exploitation in the pornography industry. So, Gail, thank you. By the way, it's 4 books, not 3. By way of an introduction, let me explain that although I make my money in the halls of the Academy as a lecturer in sociology and women's studies, I am at heart an anti-porn radical feminist activist. Evidently, this means I am an anti-sex, sex-negative, sex-moralist, sex-phobic prude who wants to censor what you think, read and do in the bedroom. According to my many male fans on the internet, I am driven to such extremes for one very specific reason. And here I am quoting precisely, Gail Dines, what you need is a good fuck. Now we have that out of the way, let's get to the heart of the matter. Does porn do a good public service? I would love to say yes. Believe me, no one more than me hopes that I am wrong and that my colleagues on the other side are right. I so want porn to be a harmless fantasy that empowers women and provides men with much needed sexual advice on how to please a woman. I want porn to be everything my opponents say it is. Why? Because the alternative view that it is a powerful and articulate disseminator of woman-hating ideology means that we as a culture are in deep trouble. If I am right, then what we are talking about tonight has very real implications for how you will live out your life as citizens, as professionals, and as gendered beings in a culture that is increasingly becoming pornified. Pornography is a massive industry that is estimated to be $97 billion worldwide. It releases over 13,000 new porn films every year. There are 420 million internet porn pages, 4.2 million porn websites, and 68 million daily porn search engine requests. Any industry this size, whether it sells food, cars or clothes, is going to shape the economic, sexual, cultural and political landscapes that we all inhabit. To suggest otherwise is to ignore the power that capitalist industries have in moulding human behaviour. And you don't need to be an expert in Marx, Foucault or Gramsci to know this. The fashion industry shapes the way we dress. The food industry, the way we eat. The sex industry, the way we think and do and talk about sex. How can it not, given that it is the main producer of discourse about gender, sex and sexuality? It is a powerful form of sex education, with the average age of first viewing porn now down to 11 for boys. And let me tell you, this is not their father's Playboy.
Point of information?
No, rather than sporadic trips into a world of coy smiles, provocative poses and glimpses of semi-shaved female genitalia, boys and men are catapulted into a never-ending universe of ravaged anuses, distended vaginas and semen-smeared faces. Websites with names like Gag on My Cock, Suck Me Bitch, Ghetto Gaggers and Human Toilet Bowls make clear that today's porn is about making hate to women's bodies, with sex acts designed to deliver the maximum amount of brutality, humiliation and degradation. On the site advertising the movie, Anally Ripped Whores, the text reads, and I quote, "We at Pure Phil know exactly what you want, and we're giving it to you. Chicks being ass fucked till their sphincters are pink, puffy, and totally blown out. Adult diapers just might be in store for these whores when their work is done." Over at Gag Me and Then Fuck Me, the text advertising a movie with Laura reads, "The last thing we needed was a vomiting girl, but this time it was close. Stopping is not our style, so she was grabbed by the head and face fucked as if there was no tomorrow. She tried hard to swallow, but there was too much muck, and the bitch had no real choice but to take it all." Before you think I spend hours looking for the worst, let me tell you, I get to all of these within 20 seconds of typing porn into Google. These examples are drawn from that subgenre of porn that the industry calls gonzo. Defined as wall-to-wall sex without a storyline, gonzo is, according to Adult Video News, the trade journal of the industry, the most profitable to pornography there is. It is the porn of choice for men when masturbating alone. Of course, gonzo isn't all there is, and any aficionado of porn will tell you that there are literally thousands of subgenres that cater to almost any imaginable taste. But most of these are marginalised, and their existence does not in any way invalidate my argument that the majority of porn that men consume is brutal and degrading. For this reason, gonzo has more cultural power than subgenres such as woman-friendly porn or so-called feminist porn. Most of porn is produced within a capital industrial setting, which does to sex what fast food does to food. It commodifies it, and you end up with a product that is generic, formulaic, and plasticized, totally lacking in creativity, imagination, authenticity, and individuality. This is what it means when a product is industrialized, and this is why it is ridiculous to suggest that being anti-porn is the same as being anti-sex. When I criticise McDonald's, no one accuses me of being anti-eating, since people understand that I am critiquing an industry and an industrial product, not a human act. Understanding that porn is an industry means that it needs to be seen as a business, whose product evolves within a specifically capitalist logic. It is a business with considerable political clout, with the capacity to lobby politicians, engage in expensive legal battles, and use public relations to influence public debate. It is a business that is increasingly able to deploy a sophisticated and well-resourced marketing machine, not just to push its wares, but to cast the industry's image in a positive light. It is a business that interfaces with credit card companies, mobile phone companies, search engines, satellite and cable companies, venture capitalists, hotels and real estate developers, to name just a few. For example, the Free Speech Coalition, the lobbying organisation of the US industry, was successful in changing the child porn laws in 2002, so that now, thanks to the porn industry, we have an explosion in images of young women made to look barely pubescent females. To suggest that porn images have an effect is to be branded as an unsophisticated thinker who mistakes fantasy for reality. But if their pornographers and their apologists are right, and images have no effect, then why do corporations spend billions of dollars on advertising every year? Why do historically oppressed groups such as blacks argue that racist images make life intolerable for them? Why did the Nazis develop sophisticated propaganda images against the Jews? And why do left-wing sociologists such as myself feel despair when the Daily Mail, Fox, and indeed all corporate-owned media spews out right-wing ideology about the poor being dumb, lazy, and scroungers on the state? We despair because we know that media has a profound effect on shaping the way people think about reality. And pornography is one particular powerful type of media, since it sends messages to men's brains via the penis. In porn, women are not human beings who need good jobs, safe housing, equal pay, or free daycare for their children. No, in porn, women are a bunch of whores, sluts, cunts, and cum dumpsters who need nothing more than a good fucking. These cum dumpsters have no bodily integrity or limits or desires outside, of course, of being fucked. And whatever men want to do to women, surprise, women want it too. It is in fact a perfect pre-feminist world where men don't have to deal with pushy, mouthy, ambitious women who nag about pesky things like equal rights, fair pay, and free childcare. In Pornland, boys can be boys and don't have to deal with women, because in porn there are no women, only hot girls, lots of them, and they're disposable, because once you're finished with one, then another comes along, and then another, and then another. Now the problem here is that these men who use porn, your colleagues, are the very ones who run the world. They're the politicians, the lawyers, the bankers, the economists who decide how women and their children are going to live. They are going to make laws and policy about equal pay, rape, battery, access to welfare, housing, and education. And what do they see when they look at a woman? A full and equal being, or a fuck object who has a sell-by date stamped on her forehead? So before we all celebrate just how empowered we women are today, what with our feminist porn and endless choices to be strippers and prostitutes, let me give you a dose of reality. There are currently 143 female MPs out of a total of 650. That means there are at this moment 507 men who are deciding what budget cuts to make, the burden of which will fall on the shoulders of women and children. Today, women's hourly pay in this country is 19.3% less than men. The number of homeless women in the UK has risen by nearly 80% in 5 years, and older single women have a 24% chance of living in poverty. And on a global scale, women perform 66% of the world's work, produce 50% of the food, but earn 10% of the income and less than 1% of the property. Clearly, it is not only in porn that women are fucked. This has to change. And the only way it is going to change is if we wrestle power away from men. We have to stop giving them total and complete power over women's lives and bodies. Porn tells men lies about women. It tells them that women don't matter, that they have an unquestionable right to do whatever they want, and that they have nothing to fear from us because we won't fight back. But they are wrong. The job of feminism is to fight back, and where better to start with the refusal to collaborate with the woman-hating pornographers, because in a world where women have full equality, there is no place for pornography. Thank you. Thank you, Gail.